These are newly installed cabinets in our mudroom/laundry. And in this video, I'll show you how to install these knobs on these cabinets and these ones right here. So these look like this and they'll go somewhere around here. And these knobs will go on these little ones that are at the very top like this. So I bought this kit for drilling the holes in the cabinet doors that I'll be using from Amazon. I'll have links in the description below if you want to check it out. Should be pretty straightforward. Open this up and see what's inside. So first off, it comes in a nice little bag that you can keep in your toolbox. We got instructions. We got a hole punch, which is cool. I actually needed one of these. This makes a very useful tool. You just press and it punches a pilot hole for you so you can drill the hole easier. And here's the rest of the stuff. So let's see if we can put this together. Here's what the instructions look like inside, and here's the back side. So it looks like you take this roller, you loosen this up, and you align this based on, your distance. So for example, for mine are 5 inches apart. So I'm gonna put one on this side at 5 and one on this side at 5. I think, I'm totally guessing at this point. And then I believe this goes like this and it goes against the edge of the cabinet. I'm not sure what this is for. Let me look at the instructions. Step 1, take your corner of your cabinet door and measure out, place where you want your handle. So I'm doing about this / the center of this section right here. And then I measured it out, this way and this way, made my markings like this. And then what you want to do, since you're going to have a lot of them, is use the template. So here's what the tool looks like. You can adjust this, you can adjust that. Honestly, for what I'm doing, I didn't really like this because it's very flimsy. It's very, I can punch it wrong. I did one first before doing this video and the holes weren't exactly in the right spot. So I had to drill them out and make it more complicated. So I'm gonna do something else. Stick around and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So instead, what I'm taking is a piece of scrap wood that I have. I marked this corner because that's gonna be the corner of my door. And I transferred those measurements into here and here. So essentially what I'm gonna do is make hole from here to here and make a template out of this, test it out with my handle, make sure it fits nicely to where I can make adjustments on this piece and not ruin my door. And then once I find a perfect fit for the handle, then I can use this and in each corner, front and back, and flip it up, depending whether it's a left or a right door, I can make multiple holes and multiple doors at once. That's what I've seen the professionals do as far as installation when we were building our kitchen. So let's try it. So the only useful tool in that kit was this punch, but you can buy that separately and I'll have the links for these punches as well. And so I'm still gonna use this punch and basically make sure that my point is very sharp. You can see it goes right on my marks. And then once it's on it, you basically hold it and just push it down until you hear it click like that. And it makes a center punch. We'll do one over here like that. Let me see if I can show it to you. As you can see, there's a little divot right there. It punched into the wood. And that basically helps the drill. When you're drilling with a drill bit, it keeps it in the center. So I'm using a 3/16 size drill bit and I'm gonna slowly drill these out. Here's what it looks like. And now let's test it. Screw through here. So it was a little tight to do by hand, but with a impact, I managed to screw it in. So it wasn't perfect, but it works, and I might make adjustments a little bit just to get a little bit more room in the cabinets. But the thing is, I'm using 3/16, I can always technically go a little bit larger to give myself more wiggle room if I need to. But for now, this looks pretty good and it's straight. So this would be a good template. See, if you look at it, it lines up, but these Chinese handles, they're not perfectly straight, meaning when you're screwing it in, it comes at an angle and that makes a little difference. So it also depends on the handles you get. They're not really well made, but you get what you pay for. So I don't recommend you doing this, but I'm a professional, so trust me. But use paper tape or painter's tape, I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just using Scotch tape. But the problem with Scotch tape, it could peel it, cabinet stuff. I tested on the back side. I think I'll be okay. But in your case, use painter's tape. But basically, line this up nicely in this corner like this. Bring the tape down here and here like this, so it can hold it. And now you can still hold it with your hand, but at least this way it's not going to move on you. And then just slowly drill try to keep it straight. There you go. Now take the template off. Let's see. And we got nice holes. And finally, take your screws, put them in, and install the bar. Let's see. And here's what it looks like. It's a little crooked. You see it here versus here. So I will make adjustments, you know, by taking it off and trying to drill that way and drill this one that way. So as you can see, the template, it works, but you gotta be just extra careful. So I'll do the rest and I'll show you once it's all done. So another thing I'm gonna try is using this template, putting it up, and then using the punch to punch through. So I did that right here and right here, and I measured from here and from here, and it looks like it's a dead on spot. So now I'm gonna try to drill, holding the drill as straight as possible, and see if that gives me a better result. So I took the same drill bit and wallowed them out vertically, a little bit here and a little bit here. And then I managed to install it, and this way it's straight, but this way it was harder to get in, but just a little bit of wallowing out the holes looks pretty good. So one useful tool that you will need to use is this angle, forgot what it's called, a square, I guess, maybe, to basically make sure your lines are straight. And what I actually did was I made a marker, so that way I know what it is from the edge, like this. So that's helpful and quicker. But as you can see, I marked these, those, so that way I can just punch them and go one at a time instead of using a template. So like I said before, for the smaller cabinets, I'm gonna use this knob. So again, I'm centering it vertically this way, and then I'm gonna line it up with this line. So I made my marks, as you can see here and here. So it's gonna be something like this. So it's actually easier with these. It's not that critical if you are a little off. So you could use a template, but like I said, in my case, I used the square plus lining up with this line. It was just easier to mark it, and I'm gonna punch the hole and drill it. And here's what it looks like once it's installed. So it's the top ones, and here's the handle ones. And one last thing, I'm definitely not gonna be using this ever again. Don't waste your money on this. I would recommend, though, separately buy the punch, because that was helpful in terms of making sure my holes were in direct center. So I'll have the links in the description below. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button.